Have you ever paused to, truly articulate who you are beyond just what you look like?
Or yeah, tried to find the right words for that spark, that thing that makes someone else them.
It's a fascinating challenge, isn't it? So today on the deep dive, we're really plunging into the rich world of personality traits,
Mhm.
and we've sifted through quite a bit of source material, actually, including some uh, really insightful dialogue from actual personality test results.
Yeah, that dialogue is great because it gives us a Okay, so at its core, what is personality? Uh Fundamentally, it's just the unique way a person thinks, feels, and behaves.
Right, it's that kind of consistent pattern, the thing that makes each of us distinct.
Exactly. And it covers a huge spectrum, like you said.
It really does. You've got your
Yeah.
quiet, thoughtful listeners on one end, and then, the really vibrant, talkative, social butterflies on the other.
And the serious, focused types versus the more playful, energetic ones, these patterns just, they show up everywhere.
And understanding all this stuff, it's not just like a fun mental exercise, is it?
No, not at all. It's actually crucial for building strong relationships, for making real connections with new friends, and honestly, for just improving how we communicate day to day.
Absolutely. Think about the practical side, just navigating a family gathering maybe, or that big moment in a job interview.
Oh, yeah, the classic how would you describe yourself question.
Exactly. Knowing the right words makes it so much easier to get your thoughts across clearly. And, maybe even more importantly, it helps you understand other people better too.
So, to kind of set the stage, our source material kicked off with this really vivid example. It was from an actual personality test discussion.
Okay.
One person looked at their results and described themselves as adventurous, outgoing, and easygoing. Pretty positive start.
Sounds good so far.
But then the test also pointed out things they saw as maybe challenges, like being a little superstitious and occasionally naive.
Ah, okay, so a bit more complex.
Yeah, and even reckless and clumsy.
Wow. Okay, so right away we're seeing this mix. It's not just the highlights, but the things people grapple with too. That feels much more real.
Totally. And then another person's results. They came back described as extroverted, well balanced, generous, outspoken, very diligent, magnanimous, eloquent, and daring.
Quite a list. So we'll sort of keep these specific words in mind as we go deeper, right? Really poke them apart.
Definitely. Let's dive into some of these adjectives now. Maybe start with the ones that have a bit more nuance or a sort of double edge before we hit the clearly positive ones.
Sounds like a plan. First up is superstitious.
Right. The source defines this as basically believing that certain actions will bring you bad luck.
And it gave some common examples, right? Like uh, walking under a ladder or opening an umbrella inside the house. Depends on the culture, I guess.
Exactly. It's interesting how those specific superstitions vary so much. Black cats, knocking on wood, number 13.
Yeah. But the core thing is that belief, that fear.
Yeah.
Your actions might invite bad luck. That's the definition of superstition.
Mm-hmm. That underlying fear of consequence.
Okay, so speaking of beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
what about someone who just seems to believe, well, anything they're told? The source mentioned naive next.
Yeah, naive. The example they used was great. Like, if I told you, hey, did you know it's supposed to rain frogs tomorrow?
Okay.
If George believes me without questioning it, he's naive. It's someone who generally accepts most things they hear as true.
So it's kind of a lack of skepticism. Bit too trusting, maybe.
Pretty much. And the source notes that while it's not always bad, you have to be careful. Calling someone naive can definitely sound offensive depending on the situation.
Right, context is key. Okay, what about reckless? That was in the first example, too.
Reckless. This means doing things without really thinking about the danger, without considering the consequences. Often implies real danger.
Like the example given.
Yeah, driving a car without wearing your seatbelt is very reckless.
Got it. That's pretty clear. Definitely a negative trait suggesting you don't care enough about safety or what might happen.
And paired with reckless in that first description was clumsy.
Ah, clumsy. Someone who often falls or bumps into things, trips, drops stuff.
Yeah, the source even offered that great synonym, butterfingers, like your fingers are slippery.
Huh. I like that. Definitely seen as negative too, I imagine.
Generally, yes, though sometimes endearing, maybe, but mostly negative.
The source mentioned a funny image. Like a commercial for clumsy high school kids always dropping their books.
Mhm.
I can picture that. I think we all know someone a bit clumsy, or maybe have our own clumsy moments. My coffee mug feels that way some mornings.
Relatable, for sure. Now, daring is interesting because it really has that dual nature. It can be good or bad.
Okay, how so? Is it like the line between daring and reckless can be thin?
Exactly, that's the key. A good kind of daring might be a business person taking a calculated risk, something bold that leads to success.
Makes sense.
But it tips into negative territory when it just becomes reckless, when the risk isn't thought through.
Hmm.
The source used the example of someone who recently jumped out of an airplane skydiving. That's very daring.
Right. High risk, but maybe calculated, unlike just driving without a seatbelt.
Precisely. The difference is often in how much thought goes into the risk.
Okay, so we've looked at some traits that need a bit of thought, maybe carry a warning label. Let's flip to the other side. The qualities we usually see as positive.
Right. Like someone who just walks into a room and connects with everyone, we probably call them outgoing.
Or extroverted, yeah.
Yeah.
Our source said those are synonyms.
Exactly. Someone comfortable talking to strangers, meeting new people, loves social events.
And the opposite would be introverted, right? Prefers being alone, maybe shy, finds big groups draining.
Mm-hmm. It's time to recharge after socializing.
We also heard adventurous and easygoing in that first description. Both sound pretty positive generally. Adventurous suggesting openness to new things. Easygoing meaning relaxed, not easily ruffled.
Yeah, good first impression words. Then there's diligent. This is a really valuable one.
Diligent. Well, what does that capture exactly?
It means someone who is very careful, very thorough. They do things properly, quickly, on time. They always aim to do a good job.
Ah, okay, like the kind of word a teacher or a boss would love to hear.
Definitely. But think about teamwork, too. Knowing who on your team is diligent, that's gold.
Yeah.
You know who can handle those detail-oriented tasks reliably? It impacts the results.
Good point. Okay, what's next on the positive list?
Magnanimous. This is a big word, maybe less common.
Magnanimous. Sounds impressive.
It describes someone who does things for the benefit of other people. They genuinely think about others' well-being. It means unselfish, generous in spirit.
The source had a powerful example, didn't it? Donating half a salary to earthquake victims.
Yeah, a very clear picture of magnanimity. But, it's not always grand gestures like that.
Right. It can be smaller things, too.
Absolutely. Choosing to forgive someone instead of holding a grudge. Sharing credit for success. That's magnanimity in daily life. That's where its real power often lies, I think.
That's a great perspective.
Yeah.
Okay, then eloquent.
Eloquent. This is about speaking well. A very good speaker uses strong vocabulary, knows how to capture an audience.
Makes people want to listen, right? Makes the message engaging, interesting.
Exactly, like an eloquent speaker at a conference, or maybe an eloquent sermon. It's about the power and grace of their words.
And finally, open-minded.
Pretty straightforward, this one. Easy to entertain new ideas, receptive to different perspectives, not shutting things down immediately.
Like saying, I always keep an open mind about trying new food. Or maybe you can talk to her about anything. She's really open-minded. Allows for broader understanding, doesn't it?
It really does. And if we zoom out a bit, you see how all these traits, this whole idea of personality, it really shapes our reactions to pretty much everything.
It influences so much of our daily lives.
Take social situations. We touched on outgoing versus introverted. The outgoing person thrives on parties, meeting new people, group stuff.
While the introverted person might prefer quiet time, maybe just one or two close friends, they need downtime after being social, right? Maybe curling up with a book.
Exactly. And neither is better, just different social styles.
And it affects how we handle problems too, doesn't it?
Massively. Think about an optimistic person versus a pessimistic one.
Okay. The optimist sees challenges as, what? Opportunities. Believes things will work out, encourages others.
Right. They tend to lift the mood. The pessimist, though, often expects the worst, focuses only on the problems, might feel kind of hopeless, can bring the mood down sometimes.
And stress. How we react under pressure.
Big differences there, too. A calm and patient person. They tend to stay relaxed, look for solutions logically.
Whereas a nervous or anxious person might worry excessively, overthink everything, feel scared about decisions. It makes you realize how two people could face the exact same stressful event so differently.
It really does. And this connects to roles within groups. Some people naturally step up as leaders,
Yeah, they take charge, guide others, make decisions confidently.
while others are more comfortable as followers. They prefer clear instructions, like following the rules.
And what's key here, as the source pointed out, is that both types are absolutely essential for a team to function well.
Oh, completely. Imagine a team of only leaders. Constant arguments, probably.
Or only followers.
Yeah,
Nothing would get started. You need that balance.
true. And personality dictates how we show emotions, too. Expressive people versus reserved people.
Expressive folks wear their hearts on their sleeves, right?
Mm.
Smile, laugh, cry openly, talk about feelings.
Mm-hmm. Reserved people tend to keep feelings more inside. They might seem serious or even distant, but they can still care very deeply.
It's so important to remember that, isn't it? That outward appearance doesn't always match the inner feeling. Neither way is right or wrong, just different styles of emotional processing.
Absolutely. Which leads us to why understanding all this is such a crucial skill. It's not just interesting, it's practical.
How so? Building better relationships.
Yes, stronger relationships, working better with colleagues, and just, avoiding those pointless misunderstandings that can really sour things.
Okay, give me an example. Communication effectiveness.
Sure, think about a really talkative person and a quiet friend. If the talkative one understands their friend prefers listening, they won't feel bad or rejected if the friend doesn't say much. It's about adjusting.
Right. Meeting people where they are. And in teamwork.
Well, we talked about leaders and followers. Recognizing who fits which role naturally helps a team use everyone's strengths and avoid frustration. Makes things run smoother.
And what about close relationships? Family, friends.
Accepting personality differences is huge there. Maybe one person is super organized, the other is messy, one's a worrier, the other's laid back.
Yeah.
Acceptance fosters patience, understanding. It helps people work together and appreciate each other's strengths instead of constantly trying to change the other person, which rarely works anyway.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about practical adaptation then.
Exactly. Being flexible, being understanding, it just makes communication easier all around. Like being patient with someone stubborn instead of trying to force them.
Or choosing your words carefully with someone sensitive so you don't unintentionally hurt their feelings.
Precisely. And this is where having the right vocabulary comes back in. Learning words like kind, honest, hardworking, or even the negatives like lazy, funny, serious, confident, shy, friendly, nervous.
It just helps you talk about yourself and others more naturally, more clearly. Leads to a better environment, really. More empathy.
Which brings us full circle back to that job interview scenario we mentioned.
Right. How can you use this knowledge there?
Well, you can confidently use those positive words about yourself. I'm extroverted, I'm diligent, and I'm very open-minded. It shows self-awareness.
And it's not just about listing strengths. It's about genuinely knowing yourself. What about when they ask about weaknesses or faults? That's always tricky.
It is, but it's not really a trap. It's a chance to show you understand your challenges and how you manage them. So instead of just saying, oh, well, sometimes I'm superstitious and naive.
Which probably doesn't sound great.
Right. You could reframe something like daring thoughtfully. Maybe say, sometimes my enthusiasm makes me a bit too daring, so I've learned it's crucial for me to pause, double-check assumptions, and make sure my risks are calculated, not reckless.
Shows you've thought about it.
That's a much better approach. Shows self-awareness and growth.
And what's also interesting is using personality types to understand what irritates us in others. Helps us understand our own reactions.
How does that work?
Well, the source brought up the idea of a type A personality.
Ah, I've heard that term. What does it usually mean in this context? It often describes someone who might be seen as too extroverted, too hardworking, maybe very serious, always anxious, constantly needing to get things done.
Controlling, maybe?
Yeah,
Never seems to relax.
exactly. And often, maybe not the best listener because they're so focused on the doing. Recognizing that pattern can help you understand why you might find certain interactions challenging. It's another angle on understanding personality.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, what does this mean for you listening?
Well, we've taken a pretty deep dive today, haven't we, into this fascinating world of personality, from specific words that paint a picture.
Right, like magnanimous or clumsy.
To the much broader impact these traits have on our everyday lives, our relationships, and how we connect or sometimes clash with the people around us.
And hopefully this knowledge feels like a useful tool, something for better self-awareness, for understanding others with a bit more empathy.
Yeah, and for navigating the sheer complexity of human connection with maybe a little more skill and grace.
So here's a final thought to leave you with. Beyond any test, any label, what three adjectives would you genuinely choose to describe your own core personality right now, today?
And maybe think about how that self-awareness, just knowing those words for yourself, how might that empower you in your next conversation or maybe the next challenge you face?